Attention women's wrestling fans and wrestling collectors. Ring Post Journal's 2021 Women's Wrestling Year in Review is now available worldwide on Amazon. This year's book includes an industry news timeline, event results from all around the globe, the top 10 stories of the year, win-loss records, and comprehensive statistic-based wrestler rankings for WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, NWA, and Ring of Honor. All of this plus a one-on-one interview with Maria Canales-Bennett as she explains the process behind rebuilding Ring of Honor's women's division. A portion of the proceeds will also be donated to a mental health organization in honor of the late Daphne. Happy reading, and author Colby Applegate thanks you for your continued support. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 244 of a Wrestling Gal podcast, providing you with the female perspective on all things wrestling. Join me, your host and wrestling enthusiast, Ella J. As today, I am joined by the Mad Esthetician, Amber Rodriguez. Now let's chat. Hello, everybody. Today I am joined by the Mad Esthetician, Amber Rodriguez. So how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic to be speaking with you today. You are a very busy lady, so I really appreciate your time. You do it all, which we'll talk about in a bit, but I wanted to start off today in honor of Women's History Month, and ironically, at the time of recording this, it is International Women's Day. So I wanted to talk about a woman that I know we both admire, Miss Mickie James. So for you, what really captivates you the most, or I guess inspires you the most about the former Knockouts champion?
I have been a huge fan of Mickie since her feud with Trish Stratus. It was just so innovative how they actually had a feud and a storyline, because it wasn't common for women at the time. And then how she took that character and ran with it. I said in another interview recently how crazy Mickie has a lot to do with the Mad Esthetician.
Yeah, definitely a lot of inspiration from that era, where especially going on like at that time, like 6 months, it was like a 6-month plus long feud she had coming in as this kind of crazy chick, psycho sweetheart too. Definitely I've seen a lot of people drawn inspiration from her. And you've also been one of the fortunate people who has actually worked with her multiple times in MCW and stuff like that. So do you kind of have any specific takeaways or things you've learned through working with her?
We've actually crossed paths again more recently.
Last month, right?
All I'm gonna say is stay tuned on Championship Wrestling from Memphis. So yeah, definitely reopened that rivalry there. But yeah, to answer your question, the biggest takeaway was just, everything that she told me, like during that feud, every piece of advice that she gave me after our matches. And I wouldn't be the performer that I am without that feud that I had with her, because it really just brought the best out of me. When you're working someone that you look up to, you really want to give them 125%. So yeah, I mean, just all the lessons that she gave me, I still hold with me to this day.
Now, I feel like too, especially now that you are, because back then you had a completely different persona. Now you are the Mad Esthetician. And so if you said coming up in Tennessee, of course, coming up, you have maybe a match in the works, possibly. So what do you think are maybe the biggest differences compared to where you were then, 2014, 2015, to now, should you reprise this, like, maybe rivalry, you would call it, with her?
Well, the thing now, I'm much more comfortable with who I am in the ring. This character is so fun for me. Sometimes I go too far, but then again, what is too far, right? So yeah, just the comfort level that I have. Whereas then I was kind of still trying to find myself. I was still trying to figure myself out and figure out what I wanted to do. I had some ideas which she helped me a lot with at the time, but it's still I still couldn't really find my footing. Whereas now I'm solid, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like too, it's just in life in general, especially when you're so young at that point, still definitely finding yourself. You were still what? You would be a teenager still at that point, correct? Like just like on the
What?
cusp.
I'm
Right.
only 21.
Okay. So yeah. So you would have been, damn, you wrestled Mickie James at like 12 years old, Amber. That's impressive.
Let's go with that. That's very
but
believable.
I mean, especially then too, when you're still so young. I mean, just in life in general, you're still finding yourself.
Yeah.
I'm 24, gonna be 25 later this year, still kind of discovering myself and all of that. So it's definitely, I feel like takes with time and maturing, especially though when you started training so young at, let's see, 10 years old. Yeah, I think it's a real testament though to your hard work. But I mean, Mickie definitely has truly reinvented herself, and much like you have over the last few years. So I'm very curious too. Did you pull any inspiration from any like evil doctor shows or films when you're crafting the Mad Esthetician?
Yes. So I love Dr. Death on Peacock. So it's basically this guy, he's a doctor, he thinks he's like God's gift to medicine, but he always leaves people either injured or dead, like permanently injured. So that really like spoke to me. I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, it really spoke to me character wise. And this character I knew because I am an esthetician in real life, but I don't want to just be a wrestler who's also an esthetician. I wanted this character to be someone who's really gone off the deep end and really kind of has that God complex, like I'm perfect, and I can also make you perfect. So yes, Dr. Death, a little bit of Dexter in there. It's just a plethora of this like horror movie, crazy people type of thing.
Now, I will say, maybe in wrestling, you don't want to like permanently injure people and don't want to kill them. But I feel like you kind of do the opposite, though. You're trying to fix them and make them perfect. So I feel like it's the kind of the opposite route, but still evil, I would say, because you got the mad in there for you. So I'm very curious too. I mean, you're all about making people perfect. Do you feel like you're a perfectionist in real life as well?
I am crazy when it comes to just my work and just like I'm very detail oriented. I pay a lot of attention to detail. So yes, I am a perfectionist, and it's gotten the best of me mentally several times. If something doesn't go the way that I want it to go, it eats at me. So yes, to answer your question, yes.
Can you kind of give an example outside of your beauty work and wellness work where you really tried to make something perfect?
Outside of my wellness work, I mean, I'd say just, my matches, like just in the ring, like if something goes wrong, or not necessarily wrong, but just not according to plan or not how I envisioned it going in my mind. And, of course you keep going, you call an audible, but it's like, man, I wish it looked like this, or I wish it went that way, so I'm just like, again, I'm just very detail oriented.
Fair. I feel you too. I feel like too, especially somebody who interweaves their real life work with wrestling too. So do you feel that, I don't know what the right word is, like do you like deep delve like research wise of, or like the wheels turning, like plan very specifically what you want to do into a match and all of that to be sure that it'll work, if that even makes sense?
Yeah. So, first of all, I gotta break the fourth wall a little bit and praise Mia Friday here, because that
I
girl
love
is,
her.
man, the way she puts up with me.
I watched your Vixen's Wrestling Revolution match as well too. That was fun.
Yeah, that was the final of 3. Well, I'd never say final, but for now, it was the last of the 3 match feud that we had. And yeah, just bringing out the syringes and the saline mist and all this stuff. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So yeah.
I feel like too, you have a very unique place to where you can bring in those outside objects. And does you or your character, however you want to define it, have a preferred like foreign object or outside weapon to use?
So I often use the syringe. However, I was watching back my match with Dream Girl Ellie, and I really like the derma roller because you have never seen anyone use a derma roller in wrestling.
No.
And so it's very innovative, and it was fun to use, because it's something, it's like, wait, what is that? And it kind of gives me the opportunity to spell that out, to people watching. This is part of my job, and now bring it into the ring, into my other job. So yeah, the Gemma roller is very fun, and you're going to see a lot more of it probably.
Okay. I feel like, yeah, you can do a lot of like innovative spots. You're one of those people who I feel like has a very unique character to where you can intertwine a lot of like props, services, I don't know what you want to call them, but into wrestling too, and it works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the most fun part about it. It's like, moves are cool, but I feel like you really take away from those moments where it's like, wait, what did she just pull out? Like, or what does she do? She thinks she's operating on someone? Like, you really like, that's what you talk about in the car ride home. You know what I mean? Like, the moves are great, but then there's like the storytelling aspect of it, the classic tale of good versus evil. Like, that's the fun part, just, getting really creative in that aspect.
Definitely too. And I know too, you sometimes actually bring, I mean, besides the stuff you utilize in your matches, but you'll bring along like your beauty and wellness services to wrestling shows. So so the stuff that you don't use in your matches, what exactly do you pack or bring along when you're traveling with those services to shows?
So I run a skincare line, Ashley
Yes.
Renee Beauty, and you can shop ashleyreneebeauty.com. But yes, I'm always bringing my products with me. And sometimes I'll have clients in the towns that I'm wrestling in, or even other wrestlers will book appointments, or they'll want something from my skincare line. So I'm always sure to bring my skincare products. And if I'm servicing someone in the area, I'll also bring whatever equipment I need for that. So you got to hustle out here.
Now, how exactly do you organize this all so it fits? Like, what does your makeup bag or beauty bag look like?
Yeah, so that's another thing. I'm actually very like organized. Like, I have my wrestling bag, I have my merch bag, I have my skincare product bag. So, I'm always making students come to my car and bring my stuff inside the venue.
Fair enough too. I feel like so multiple bags make sense. When you're bringing in that wellness bag though, like how actually big is it like visually?
It's not that big actually. It's a small like, I don't know what they're called, but you like roll them. You know what I mean? It's like a bag that you roll.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like one of the smaller ones in zebra print. It's really cute.
Oh, okay. Love that print. Love that too.
I'm actually very girly, like, believe it or not. I'm super girly. I love pink. I love animal print. I love glitter. So
I mean, you got to. I feel like prints. I not everybody can pull off prints, but I feel like you're definitely one who definitely can pull it off.
yes. I have multiple pairs of leopard print pants.
I love that. Do you have a favorite pair of leopard print pants?
Yes. So this one pair is like, they're like bell bottoms and they're leopard print. And yeah, they're my favorite.
Interesting. I'm very curious now. I mean, how would you overall describe your sense of style?
Fashion Nova.
Oh, you're talking to the right person. Yeah.
Praying that they sponsor me someday.
We got to get it out there. We got to start that petition, Amber.
Yes, we do. We do.
Fashion
I've sent
Nova.
emails.
Yeah, definitely Fashion Nova is one of my go-tos. Same with Shein and all of that. There,
Yes.
I love it so much. For
I'm
you
scared
too.
of Shein. So I'm scared that it'll come out like Wish stuff. Like I've seen good reviews, but I haven't like actually purchased anything from there.
Amber, I will say that a good like quarter of my entire wardrobe is Shein. Like I have a whole 5 orders like sitting on the side of my bed right now coming up for Dallas stuff. I mean for me, I've never had an issue with it besides something maybe being too big or too small. It's definitely not Wish
Yeah.
quality. So that's a good thing. So I've only had a good experience from it. I can't talk for others, but I've had a good experience. But I get the hesitation too. I was too.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely for you too. I feel like you're all about de-stressing and all of that. What are some of your favorite ways to unwind or de-stress if you've had a busy, stressful, or maybe off day?
Oh, I gotta put myself over here. My Ashley Renee hemp and CBD bath salts, which you can get on ashleyreneebeauty.com. It's made with hemp oils. We have another one that isn't out yet, but we're gonna put it out. It has CBD oil in it as well. The one with hemp oil also has eucalyptus, frankincense, myrrh. Just something to help you really like wind down and relax your muscles and just kind of get away from what happened that day.
Definitely too. I feel like a lot of people utilize like music too. I don't know if you're one who maybe listens. Yeah, if you're like having an off day, what are some of your go-to songs or artists that'll like lift your spirits per se?
So it's so funny. I recently interviewed with Taylor Wilde, and I told her about my love for Pearl Jam, and we ended up singing "Last Kiss" by Pearl Jam. It's one of my favorite songs. Yeah. So there's that footage coming out of me singing, but yeah. So Pearl Jam, anything by them, especially "Last Kiss." "Black" is another good song by them. The Fixer is a good like morning song. What else? I love All Time Low. I'm also big on like slow R&B and pop. I listen to a little bit of everything, honestly.
We love some versatility. I'm kind of the same way. I'm kind of dipping my toes in like a lot of different genres, all of that. But when you're like in the mood from like a soothing song, those are definitely some good artists right there. Definitely too. If people
Yeah.
haven't checked them out, I definitely suggest it too. Have you been to a Pearl Jam concert? Because this is actually the 3rd time that I've heard you bring it up. Have you been to a Pearl Jam concert?
Not yet, but when I was a teenager, I would literally beg my sister to take me. So, Charlie, take me to a Pearl Jam concert.
I mean, you have to. I mean, people are going back on tour. I was just at a concert the other day. People are going back on tour. So, like, we need to get you to a Pearl Jam concert, Amber. That's another petition right there.
Yeah, we do. Goals.
I mean, too, you're all about wellness and taking care of ourselves. But if you were to maybe treat yourself with a snack, what would be your first choice?
I love anything that's red velvet flavored, slash chocolate. So any of that. I also love macaroons, red velvet macaroons. Yeah, I have a huge sweet tooth. That's my problem.
Now, what kind of chocolate? Because for me, I love any chocolate virtually, but I know some people like don't like white chocolate or dark chocolate. Or do you have any like preferences when it comes to chocolate?
If I'm behaving, then it'll be dark chocolate. But on a good day, it'll be milk chocolate.
Interesting. Do you have a go-to candy bar or chocolate bar, I should say?
That's a good question. I had something recently. Hammond's, I think that's what it was called. Hammond's is like a red velvet milk chocolate bar.
What?
And, oh my god,
I've actually never tried or heard of like red velvet mixed with chocolate in like bar. Really?
I think they're the only brand that has it, which is annoying because now I know it's going to be hard to find, especially because I was out of town when I found it.
Yeah, I have never seen one, so it must be like a really specific place to go unless you order online, obviously, which is no fun because you want it right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, I know how that goes too. But I mean, besides wrestling, you like you mentioned earlier, you are co-owner of Ashley Renee Beauty. So for you, with you and your sister, what was maybe the most challenging aspect in starting up Ashley Renee Beauty for you?
Just consistency, really. We both are the types where we're very, I guess, project oriented is a way to put it. Like we both have these things that we'll do and we'll focus on, and then it's like our attention will kind of go off into something else, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh wait, we've got the skincare stuff going on. So I say just, staying the course and staying consistent, but I feel like we're finally starting to find our footing with it. And I'm excited, especially for um next year, because we've got some huge things planned for next year. Because right now there are some limitations we're trying to get around, but next year we plan to have more CBD based products.
That's exciting too, especially a lot of people have started up their own businesses or brands in the last few years. And I just think that's so cool that like everything you do, you like put your whole heart into it and you're definitely been very successful, which is really so inspiring to see, truthfully.
Thank you.
And I mean, I'm very curious talking about inspirations. Do you have any like fashion or beauty inspirations or icons within that realm?
Ooh, I love RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, really, just to see their looks and what they come up with. And I love the runway part the most. Like, and this is how horrible I am. Like, sometimes I'll even just fast forward to when they get to the runway. like I don't really care about the challenge. Like, I just want to see like the looks. So yeah, just as far as like looks, like I really go for that. Like for example, sometimes when I wrestle, I'll have like the surgical markings on my face. And there was a challenge on RuPaul's Drag Race where oh god, I wish I could remember the name of the queen that did this, but she had like a full-blown plastic surgery themed look. And I was like, man, I really love that. Like I want to do something like that since my character is very, cosmetic based. So yeah, that was a big one that stood out to me. Oh, I hate that I can't remember her name. And then Violet Chachki, when she had the crazy like waist, the corset, like, oh my God, I was obsessed.
I know. I feel like too there's a lot of people in fashion, beauty, modeling too that like have their own unique stuff about them and you can kind of pick and choose or what you vibe with because there's so much like versatility in there and variety too. But talking about
Yeah.
your products, you say that you're launching some new products next year and hoping to expand. Can you tell me more when maybe starting up or even now more about your research or creation process when you're actually crafting these products?
Really, I'm always mixing different recipes. So all of our products are homemade.
Yes.
Nothing comes from just like I want to be careful. I don't want to sound like, I don't know, but when you take things that are from like these big factories and you put it on your face and it doesn't expire, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you got to be careful with stuff like that. So we pride ourselves on having everything made in-house. All of our stuff goes bad, which it should go bad. If it doesn't go bad, stop putting that on your face. It's bad for you. None of our products have parabens or anything like that. So with a lot of what we do is a lot of recipe testing. So we'll try to implement things like cocoa or fresh cinnamon, and like we worked on something with like peanut butter. I think it was one of our body butters. Like, so we're always experimenting and trying different things out. But the biggest thing is, there's like allergens. So that's been the biggest thing we're trying to be careful about now. But yeah, to answer your question, we're always trying out different recipes. Inspiration comes from so many things. Like you can smell something. Like my sister, she loves the smell of lemon. So our lip scrub has a lot of lemon in it, and lemon is also exfoliating, and it helps with like hyperpigmentation and mixed or like complexion issues that some people have. Just evens your tones. So yeah, our inspiration for that comes from so much. Bath and Body Works for me. I love Bath and Body Works. So like Elle smells it. I was like, I wonder if I can make something like this. So
Do you have any like go-to? Because I have my go-tos when it comes to Bath and Body Work. Do you have like go-to scents? Sometimes they have weird names, but just like the general scent. Do you have any? You said your sister's was lemon. I'm very curious to know yours.
you can't go wrong with warm vanilla sugar.
Fair.
That's a classic.
Definitely too. I am very into like the apple and like citrusy. I don't know, maybe just like fruits are my thing, but I'm very citrusy and like I love the like I think it's apple champagne or apple honey or whatever it is. Like the fall collection
I have the apple champagne.
it's always my favorite. Like that crisp apple smell for me is just always, I don't know how to explain it.
And recently we've been looking into how certain scents releases, I'm not a scientist, but like it like releases, like chemicals in the brain, and it makes you feel good. So that's another huge thing that, we're working on now, just trying to get that science stuff down.
Of course, it's a lot of research and time consuming, definitely.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited for the future of Ashley Renee Beauty too. And I mean, between it all, like, do you have any? What do you think are some common misconceptions people may have about the cosmetic industry, since you are running a beauty brand and a certified esthetician? I'm very curious to know.
I feel like the biggest misconception is that there's like this certain image that people are going for, but you define beauty on your own. You define what beauty is for you. And you have your own beauty standards. No one else can come up with those for you, or no one else can say, yeah, this is what perfection looks like. This is what it is, and this is how you can get it. Like, you define that for yourself. Everybody has their own definition of perfect, if there even is a perfect. So everyone has their own, just definition of what they want to look at, or what they want to see looking back at them in the mirror, and what they're satisfied with. And we're around to help you feel good, and in a natural way, just with everything that we put out there, it's very natural. Even with my esthetician services, I do like the non-invasive liposculpting, the non-invasive BBLs and stuff like that, because there's no like foreign things going into your body. It's all natural, and just things to help you feel like your best self. Meanwhile, there's nothing wrong with the other avenues. It's just another option for people.
Definitely too. I was very curious because you're like very well versed and centric in this beauty industry now. And so for you, do you have any makeup or beauty hacks or tricks that you kind of live by, or that have helped you along the way?
So what I've seen recently, and I am so late to the party on this, but apparently wetting your beauty blender before you put your foundation on. Yeah, apparently that makes it, just blend better.
Did you used to do it dry?
I did, and I'm so embarrassed to admit that. I know.
I was just
found this out like
go ahead.
A month ago. Yeah, I found this out like a month ago, and it changed my life.
Yeah, you don't, I mean, you want to, at least how I do it, because I wet my beauty blender right before this, putting on my makeup. Like, you want to wet it and like saturate it, but also you don't want it to be too saturated. So sometimes I'll take like a paper towel afterwards and then put the paper towel over it and like squeeze it out, because sometimes it absorbs some of the water out of it, just so you're not dabbing straight water to your face.
Yeah.
Definitely you don't want to oversaturate it too, but it definitely makes a difference too. How did you apply that with that rock of a sponge and amber? You live and you learn. There's still some hacks that I learned like from TikTok and all of that. I'm like, why didn't I not think of this?
Right? It almost makes you feel silly
Yeah.
because it's like right there.
It's okay though. I mean, definitely we live and we learn. It's crazy like where you can learn stuff online. What is this digital age?
Right?
It's wild.
It is. It is.
And I mean, looking back at your younger self, how do you think your beauty routine or maybe your preferred products have evolved?
Oh my God. So like I remember like when I was in high school, I thought it was like so hot because I would get the hard candy brand stuff.
Oh
I
my
don't know if you remember
God.
that.
I used to have the Glamouflage in hard candy because that was like the
Oh my God.
concealer, because that was like the huge, like full coverage concealer back in the day. Oh my
I
God.
thought I was so cute. And then I look back on pictures and I'm like, oh my God, you just see like these bright under eyes.
Mhm.
It's just so embarrassing.
What do you use
That
now?
and
Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, this actually answers that too. I personally recommend mineral-based makeup. It's one of the things I learned in my aesthetics classes that is better on the skin. It's not so harsh. So mineral-based
Hmm.
makeup.
Even even like for dry skin? Hmm.
Yeah, so I know it's very well, for one, it's hypoallergenic.
Yeah.
Um, but it's very well versed on all skin types. And
Hmm.
there's very few products. So when I see all skin types, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
But Bare Minerals is really good and they've been around forever.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's very few products that say for all skin types that are actually for many skin types.
Huh, you learned something new. I just learned something today because I mean, maybe because it's winter, but I mean, I've had dry skin and I've just always been very like skeptical or like stay away from mineral based stuff. For me,
Yeah.
I don't know because maybe I had my own misconception about it, but you learn. Thank you for educating me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have two more questions for you. Of course, between being a mother, a certified esthetician, a business owner, and a pro wrestler, honestly, how do you stay organized, Amber?
I'm still trying to figure that out. But I have to shout out Brian Waters. That's my guy. He handles my PR stuff, social media stuff. You know, sometimes he's my personal security. So he's like my big brother. But yeah, he really helps keep me organized and keeps my calendar for me sometimes too, because I literally have so much going on and I'm such a forgetful person. My biggest fear is that I'll forget that I'm booked somewhere and like someone will call me like, hey, where are you? But yeah, no, everyone needs a Brian because he definitely helps keep me centered and organized.
I have that fear too, which is why I have the calendar app on my phone. I set alarms sometimes. I have it literally written down on a paper thing, and I'm still like, oh my God, I'm gonna forget. So I feel like I'm forgetting something. I have that worry
Yeah.
too. It's a
Yeah.
whole thing. But I mean, you seem to be doing well for yourself. And of course, to round things out again in honor of Women's History Month, we are all about hashtag girl power here on our wrestling gal. So I mean, besides Mickie James being one, is there any female in your personal or professional life that inspires or empowers you?
Jazz. I gotta shout out Auntie. She is just an amazing woman. Um, she gives back so much and she's so willing to assist with the younger generation and it's just amazing and just I can't say enough how grateful I am to be able to have her as a resource.
Definitely too. She's a wrestling in and outside of the ring. I've only ever heard good things about her. I've met her briefly, and even then, it was a great experience. So I'm so glad that you feel like are one of the few people I feel like who have gotten to work with or have that connection with some people that they've looked up to, which is so amazing and so cool.
Oh, speaking of jazz, I will be at the Dog Pound on March 26th. So check that out,
Hmm.
San Antonio, Texas.
That'll be exciting. Will you be in Dallas coming up, Miss?
Possibly. No, I will definitely be in Dallas. There's the Sherry Martel Classic.
That is correct. I will see you
I
there.
will, yes, I will be representing World Class Revolution.
That is going to be super exciting. Literally coming up in like 3.5 weeks. What even is
Man.
life? Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm still thinking of it like it's like months from now. And it's like
it's right around the corner. And like I said, I will be in Dallas. I will see you there at Reality of Wrestling. That's going to be super exciting. But before I let you go, can you please tell the listeners where they can find you on all your social medias?
Yes, at one Amber Rodriguez on both Instagram and Twitter, and Amber Rodriguez for my Facebook fan page.
Of course. And Amber, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, thanks for having me.